Believers Talk with Joe and Steve. We are your hosts. I'm Joe.
I'm Steve.
And we wanted to come on here and break down last Thursday's game against the Panthers.
Yep.
We wanted to give it some time to digest it a little bit, right? You don't want to get on here and say too much at one time, but we are here to give a quick recap of that game. Before we do that, however, just want to remind everyone to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We will continue to give you recaps of games. We'll get you ready for the games leading up to them, and we'll continue to go all the way through the regular season, hopefully beyond, here on Believers Talk. So subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be here for all the breaking news. But I guess we should start with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
That's a hot topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the main thing of any franchise is the quarterback.
Right.
And we have basically a three-way battle.
Right.
I mean, you have the first round pick that you trade up 7th overall, so you want to give him a shot. But, you know, Peterman started out the game.
Which was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Like, I thought McCarron would start.
And that was a little bit of a surprise to me, too, because Peterman has looked good in the mini camps.
Right.
But in training camp, he kind of took a step back.
That's what they were
and
saying.
McCarron kind of looked a little better, so I thought McCarron would start. And with his familiarity from Alabama, I know Dable wasn't his offensive coordinator, but just being there, maybe I thought there would be some kind of similarity there. But Peterman started out, and he went 9 for 10, 119 yards, 1 TD, and a pick off of Chris Ivory's.
Chris Ivory's, like that pass, I feel like it was a little behind Chris Ivory, but he still got both hands on it.
It was still in his chest.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know. And then just to tip it right up in the air, basically, was an easy interception. So.
I'm not saying Peterman had like a spotless game.
Right.
He did have a couple throws that were a little iffy. His first throw was behind, I believe that was Ivory too.
Okay.
And, you know, they got a penalty on that. So that kind of negated that.
Okay, yeah.
But overall, he looked kind of how I expected him to.
Sure.
He goes back and the ball comes out.
Right.
So, you know, whether you want to say it's just his first read, at least the ball's coming out.
Exactly.
And he was completing passes.
Yeah. And like, we can't read too much into it because everything's vanilla, right? Your offense and defense, pretty much a vanilla scheme. So the defense isn't throwing any weird looks or anything like that. So, yeah, it was pretty easy. Go back, step back 3, step 5, step whatever, and just get rid of it.
And nobody's game planning, like you're saying.
Right, exactly.
And most of his completions were to Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Who had a bigger game.
We'll talk about
a little later.
Absolutely. But we want to go down now. McCarron was with the second string guys, right? Played, I think, most of the second quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. Went 7 for 10. To be honest, out of the 3 of them, I think McCarron looked a little sharper out of the 3.
Okay.
I liked Peterman's play the most, but I think McCarron still showed that why he should be the starter. I don't know what.
I'm vice versa. I think Peterman outplayed McCarron.
Okay.
McCarron was a little slower. Now, he was 7 for 10 for 116 yards, and he had a 59-yard completion to Brandon Riley.
Right.
So his numbers are a little
bulked because of that, right?
Because of that one.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good play. He rolled to the right, I believe, to kind of leave him open on left hand.
And then Riley came across from right to left, and it was a nice play. It was a nice read.
Absolutely.
He bought some time with his feet. He took a sack. Now he also did make a nice play down at the red zone. They were going in, and they ended up kicking a field goal, but you know he was sitting back there, and he had plenty of time, and a rusher finally came loose, and he just threw it out the back of the end zone. So I do like his kind of veteran smarts. He is the most experienced quarterback, so
absolutely.
That's something that I did like about him, but I just feel Peterman, the ball comes out a little faster.
Yeah.
Now, he's a little more prone to mistakes. And not saying that pick was totally on him, but there's other plays where he didn't look as sharp.
But, you know, Peterman, probably my favorite play on offense the whole game was when he threw that ball to Kelvin Benjamin towards the sideline. Like, that was such a beautiful throw. Like, only Kelvin Benjamin could have gotten it. And yeah, we'll talk about Benjamin a little bit later, but man, like, what a great throw.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good throw. So.
And that's the other thing, too, is it helps Benjamin and Peterman have a connection.
Yep.
They've worked out together, like we mentioned before, leading up to Benjamin rehabbing his knee when he was in Carolina, and Peterman was getting ready for the draft.
Right, yep.
So it's nice having that connection. I'd like to see him with the different receivers and not Benjamin, and then see how it goes.
Which might be coming up
but
next week, but
his second drive, he didn't have Benjamin. and he still looked good, but he did have a little more dump off passes.
Yeah, some screens in there, but hey, like you said, that's what works. You know, if that's what works, keep doing it. But now we want to move on to the big name, right? Yeah. Josh Allen. What do you think of his first NFL action?
I'm a little up and down on him. He went 9 for 19. 9 completions for 19 attempts. Had 116 yards, so the same total as McCarron as far as yardage. A lot more attempts though.
Yeah.
He had 1 TD, and then he had 3 rushes for 29 yards, and that was the second leading rusher of the game for the Bills. Marcus Murphy was the first leading, and Allen was the second. Now, everybody's going to be wowed by his first throw.
Sure.
And let me get this out there. I'm not bashing Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I love his arm strength, but it would have been a touchdown if he kept it in bounds.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Robert Foster's wide open down the sideline,
So thinking of that, he should have had a touchdown to start out, and they went 3 and out.
Can you imagine the hype if that would have just been a touchdown? That would like people would just be going nuts.
Everybody's going crazy because he threw it 60, 70 yards, and I get that.
Keep it in bounds,
That's really nice, but you still have to be accurate.
Yeah, still have to keep it in bounds. Yeah, I mean, there were some things that really impressed me with Allen. You talked about his rushing. That one rush when he was facing pressure and he kind of came out and spun out of it and got the first down. That was impressive to me. The one rush along the sideline where he stayed in, got like 2 or 3 extra steps. I was impressed by that. His touchdown pass to Ray, that was a zinger that he got in there. So that was pretty good too. But yeah, I mean, again, I feel like what they were saying about training camp we saw in this game. Like he's showing some promise and great things, but then he like regresses and you're like, well, he still has issue with the accuracy, right? So we'll see what happens.
Foster ran a 10-yard curl route, and he threw it a 5-yard curl route.
Right.
So like there was some miscommunication through there. Foster also gave up on a deep play that was an incompletion.
Right.
He had a couple drops. Austin Prohl had drops. So he kind of didn't have the supporting cast with him. So it'd be nice to see him bump up a little bit, but
it's interesting to see on those core routes and stuff, was it him underthrowing him or was it a miscommunication? We don't really know that, but if Foster, who I thought really did not play well, and we can get into that a little bit later too, but Foster didn't run the right route, then all of a sudden it looks like incompletion on Allen's stats, but what could he have done? So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I do agree with that long ball, like that could have been a touchdown to start the game, but he just sails it. And it's not the first time we've ever seen anyone throw a long ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kid's first game in the NFL.
Right.
He's hyped up.
I do appreciate the fact that Dable went out there and just said, let's throw it deep your first play. Yeah, just sling it just to show everyone. I was like, that's cool.
Now that's one of the things I did like about Allen. He swung it deep, I think 3 or 4 times.
Sure.
So everybody else was kind of using the underneath and intermediate routes. He swung it deep.
He's ready to go.
He has the playmaking ability, and you can see the raw talent of him.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. The arm strength, the velocity of the ball is coming out. How he can get in and out of tackles and break tackles.
Mobility a little bit.
To me, he looked better than Tyrod Taylor back here.
Sure. So, I'm excited. I mean, and it kind of goes to show you, like, maybe he's not ready to start week 1. But, with a little work, he'll be ready to go. So we have a lot to be excited about when it comes to the quarterback situation. A lot of people look at our quarterback situation and say, oh, it's not that great. I don't agree with that necessarily. Like, it's not Tom Brady or Drew Brees or nothing, but I think we'll be okay no matter who we go with here.
So how would you rank the 3 quarterbacks after the first game?
It's tough not to put Peterman 1, right? Peterman did really well. So if we're just basing it off of game, which is what Coach McDermott said we were doing, we're basing it off game performances. Well, then you have to put Peterman number 1, McCarron number 2. Those 2 are really close, and then you have like a little drop off before you have Allen. Yeah. How about you?
I go Peterman.
Yeah.
Allen just because his raw ability and I mean. He has that wow factor. And McCarron, I just think McCarron's a solid backup.
Sure.
Allen has so much more potential, and I'd like to see that potential over McCarron.
If we're talking potential, I got Allen up top, right? I mean, that was amazing. So.
And I just feel like Allen did so much more with a lot less. He was basically running for his life most of the time. And Redmond was the center for him. Yeah. The shotgun snaps were kind of floating back to him. Sure. They weren't getting back as fast as Groy and Bodines. So I mean, it's not a major factor, but it's taking a
Oh,
while to get
exactly.
the ball,
Yeah.
and he's reading. I thought he looked good. He was up and down, but
Mhm.
it just you can see why the Bills drafted
Yeah.
him 7th overall.
Yeah, we have a lot to be excited about. So, moving from the quarterback position now, we said his name a little bit earlier, Marcus Murphy.
Yeah.
I thought he had a really good game. McCoy obviously didn't play. Chris Ivory only played for a series or two, right? He wasn't.
Yeah, he was in and out.
Yeah.
Him and Cadet kind of
Right.
came in here and there. They switched out in the first half.
Right, but Marcus Murphy played a great game, I thought. You know,
Yeah.
7 carries, 35 yards, and he had a touchdown and then 4 catches as well.
For
right?
30 yards.
So he was kind of all over the place. I don't know what you thought of him.
Yeah, I really like him,
Mhm.
and I kind of almost feel like he should be the number 2 back.
Sure.
I don't know if he will be. It
Mhm.
looks like Ivory would be the number 2 back.
Yeah.
But he at least supplanted, in my mind, Cadet as a number 3.
I would actually like to get your take on this. I said this in one of the videos that I did. I'm not sure that Chris Ivory's status on the team is set in stone. Like, if we released Chris Ivory, that wouldn't be a surprise to me. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think with his contract, I believe it's fully guaranteed for this year, so I think he's kind of set there.
That's right.
I think, I really do think that Murphy has supplanted Cadet, and I think now he's going to be on the bubble.
Okay. Cadet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we only carried over. We actually had 2 running backs and 2 fullbacks on our roster last year.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, Tolbert was a fullback
Right.
/ halfback.
Right.
I mean,
right, exactly.
he was kind of.
So I was wondering how, because now DeMarco's gonna be our fullback,
Yeah.
right? So will we have 3 running backs? I don't know how that will work out. So we'll see. But that was, as far as the running back position, that was all really the notes I had. Marcus Murphy was really the guy that stood out.
Ivory did have a nice long catch.
He did.
Over the middle from
Right.
Peterman.
Right. But yeah, there wasn't much going on. Again, McCoy obviously sat out, so not much there. But so we move on to our receivers.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit to talk about here. Before the game, a couple days before, Benjamin opened his mouth about Cam Newton. I don't know. And then in the pregame, they got into a little talking battle. I don't know what you made of that.
Yeah, Cam came up to him and tried to, I guess, talk things over and smooth things over, and Benjamin wanted nothing to do with him.
Sure.
And hey, if Benjamin says something and he believes that, then good for him. Stick up for what you believe.
Right.
It is what it is. It lit a fire under him. And
Absolutely.
In the first drive, he had 4 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, he looked great.
He did. He really looked good. He looked like Kevin Benjamin of his rookie year. Like he was getting to the ball, that stretch on the sideline, like I talked about. I was happy to see that Kevin Benjamin instead of what we saw last season. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's been coming back from injuries, and this is his contract year.
Right.
So, and I'm a firm believer that a lot of these players don't play so hard until they need to play to get their contract. And not saying Benjamin's like that, but if he lights it up this year, another thing to do with it is different quarterback.
Right.
Who's going to throw him those contested passes?
Right.
I believe Josh Allen will. I believe Nathan Peterman will.
Right.
McCarron,
we'll see.
We'll have to see. But if we're looking at the starter as the first preseason game, Benjamin had plenty of chances from Peterman.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one thing, and we talked about this a long time ago. Like, Tyrod Taylor's game just wasn't built for Benjamin, like the type of receiver that Calvin Benjamin is. Yeah. I'm saying this right. And so that's not even a knock on Tyrod or Benjamin. It's just their games don't mix well together, and that's it. We saw with Peterman that if he can get Benjamin the ball, you see what happens. Those contested balls, Benjamin's going to get most of those times. So excited to see that. Another receiver that really impressed both of us, I believe, was Ray McLeod. Right. Played a lot of the second half. He had 3 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown.
Also had a rush. He did a reverse, 30 yards.
There you go.
But
it's nice to have that in your arsenal.
Yeah,
right?
It's kind of what he did at Clemson.
Okay.
He returned punts too, so he was kind of
old. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I didn't really pay too close attention to our special teams, so I might need to go back and look at that. So, but yeah, he really impressed me. He didn't have any drops or anything like that, which our next guy who we'll talk about did, and so that was something and he played with, again, a lot of third stringers. So even though that was Josh Allen, which is great, but you have a lot of other third string wide receivers, maybe try to bump him up and see how he does with the second and first.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good when him and Allen were on the same page. They were clicking as soon as Allen got to him.
Right.
At first, it looked like it was a lot of Foster, and they were going to showcase him, but Ray kind of stepped in there. And
Well, he kind of had to, because as we go to our next receiver, Foster to me did not play well at all. Like he had, so he had 5 passes thrown. Well, 5. The 6th one was DPI. So but he had 5 targets, no catches, and I think he had 2 drops in there too. I'm not 100% sure.
And he quit on one route, where Allen was scrambling, and he got away, and he chucked it deep, and you could see Foster kind of hesitated and like slowed up a little bit, and then as soon as he saw the ball towards the end zone, he tried to get to it. It was too far.
Never work. Yeah, that will never work. So I'm not sure, because it was like, I thought we were hearing good things about Foster going from training camp, right? And again, we thought with it being Daboll's system, he was from Alabama, that he would come together. Maybe it was just first game jitters. I'm sure he'll get another attempt in the next game coming up. But so we'll see what happens there. That's pretty much it for me on the offensive side of the ball. I didn't know if you had anything else on offense that you want to talk about.
Jason Crowell.
Okay. Yeah.
Tight end.
Yep.
He played decent. Lee.
Yep.
He had that one. Also, the other tight end had a nice catch for.
Which I didn't talk about. That Allen throw really impressed me too. Like back foot, fading back, just threw it up in the air. Now, I thought that was a really good play as well. But yeah, they actually, I was reading somewhere about how there might actually be a little tight end battle. Like obviously Clay set.
Yeah.
But we
have O'Leary.
Right. Thomas. So
Thomas, he didn't have big stats. I think he only had a catch or 2, and it wasn't for much. But I really like him. He had some nice blocks.
Yeah.
Another guy on the offensive side, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, Wyatt Teller played really well.
I really like him.
Really played well. And it was actually good to see O'Leary on the field, because he had gotten hurt previously in camp. He hurt his foot or something like that. So it was just good to see him on the field. And Wyatt Teller, I heard good things from him too. So that's the offense side of the ball. I think overall, we did better than I expected us to on offense, to be honest. When we went to halftime up 17-7, I was like, if this was a regular season game, I'd feel really good right now. And we saw in the second half, our secondary kind of stunk it up.
I mean, the third string defense really wasn't that good.
Right. But going to the defensive side of the ball, Harrison Phillips, his first action. What do you think of him?
I love him. I think he played great. He got a sack.
Yep. 2 tackles and a sack.
So and he kind of filled in for Kyle Williams, which everybody's comparing him to.
Sure. And Kyle Williams, I don't think Kyle Williams played at all.
No, he didn't play.
I don't think so. I was very excited to see Phillips on the field. He seems really just excited to be there. If you look back to the training camp on that last Friday when they were at New Era Field for the first time, just his reaction to that, and then him on the field, he seemed to have a lot of energy. So I really like to see that. And then, unfortunately, that was our lone bright spot on defense, if you will. I don't know if you thought about it.
I like Shaq Lawson.
You like Shaq Lawson?
I like Shaq Lawson. All this talk about getting rid of him.
Yeah.
I kind of keep pounding the table for him because I like him. I think he has so much potential.
Yeah.
And he played pretty good the first quarter or so that he was in.
I'm with you as far as keeping him. I mean, we can't just he has so much talent that he can't affect injuries all the time. And these injuries took him out, and you're hearing a lot of good things about him coming into training camp and now into the preseason. So it'll be interesting to see how he does continuing this preseason. So, I was not, Lafayette Pitts. I thought he didn't do well.
He was better than most. I mean, I wasn't really down on him. Levi Wallace, I'm not a fan.
Not a big fan of his. Right.
He got torched quite a bit. And the whole third string defense was kind of out there. Like, I wasn't really pleased with any of that.
Yeah, when there was one play in particular where I just yelled at, I think, 3 different players on defense. I think it was Moore. I forget his first name. Carolina Panthers wide receiver. DJ Moore. He caught a pass and made like 4 guys miss. Like, they just terrible tackling, and then there was a penalty on the play anyway. So I was just really mad about that. But the final result doesn't matter. We lost 27-23. I think was the final score. To me, that doesn't matter. Overall, I think it was a good performance. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the offense was a lot better than I think most people thought. The defense was kind of iffy. Even the first string defense, I wasn't really thrilled by Edmonds.
Right.
He didn't do much.
Correct. Yeah.
obviously, I think he only played, a series or two.
Sure.
Vontae Davis, at times, like the one time, I think it was a DJ Moore play.
Okay.
He kind of got lost. It was a back shoulder throw, and it was away from him. He missed a tackle.
Yeah.
He just didn't look kind of all there. So I was a little disappointed in him too.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in a lot of our defense. I remember, again, their running back. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Why can't McCaffrey running in that 2-yard touchdown, however long it was. It wasn't that long. It almost seemed like the defense gave it to him. Like they just were giving up and were just like, okay, well, we don't want to get hurt. And maybe there's something to that. It's a preseason game. You don't want to be in the trenches too much, but still, you want to see you guys giving it up their all, and to not see them kind of try. It was like, I don't know. I wasn't too pleased about that. But as the preseason moves on, I think we'll get more and more of the true effect. All Bills fans, I believe, think we have the talent to be one of the better defenses in the league. I truly believe that, and so we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I think they can be a top 10, easily top 5.
Yeah.
Defense.
I believe that.
It's just getting some of the kinks worked out, maybe feeling themselves a little too much.
Right.
Let's get it going. Because looking back at training camp, I've been hearing about how the offense is kind of taken over.
Yeah.
For the defense, and that kind of has me a little worried.
Sure.
And then you get some of these practices where you hear about the defensive line is finally getting their push.
Yeah.
So then I get like, okay, maybe it's just a day or two here or there.
And it's just weird, and we'll talk about this in another video later. But like all these released players, I'm saying all defensive tackles. Like we released 2 earlier, we just released another one. Like I just don't know why that is. But I'm pretty sure that I trust in Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott to get that team going. They proved it last year that they've earned my trust, at least as far as getting that team going. So.
Like you said, they have the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, the scheme last year worked.
Sure.
I'm not overly concerned, but it's just
right. It's time.
It's preseason.
Right.
It's not something to be crazy about.
But something else that we're unsure about going into the regular season is who's going to be returning our kicks and punts.
Yep.
Right. I didn't know if you wanted to. Who was returning them this past game?
Curley was back there.
Okay.
He didn't have any really return yardage or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Murphy and McLeod were also back there, and they each had like a return for 8 or 9 yards each one. So it wasn't much action, and most of the time you only really get one punt return or 2 punt returns a game.
Yeah, especially in this preseason because they're going to try to go for it on those 4th and short situations where sometimes they might punt. So, but and then on kick returns we had Jones and Murphy.
Yeah, Tyron Jones. He's the only one that actually returned a kick.
Right.
But Murphy was back there a few times too. So you can kind of see where some of these players, where they're fighting for a roster spot.
Yeah.
Especially Tywan Jones. I think Murphy's on the roster.
Sure.
But Tywan Jones has a lot of special teams ability, so that might get him in there. Maybe they keep 4 running backs instead of 3.
Yeah, that might be a thing that gets you in, is that versatility to play special teams as well. But that's all the coverage I had for this game. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add. But like we said, we want to get on here, recap that game. We will be on here sometime this week to get you ready for the next game. As I believe it's the Browns come to town. Everyone's excited about that. You got Tyrod Taylor, and we're going to Cleveland, right?
We're going to Cleveland.
Right. So we're going there. So we'll be interested to see what happens there. But that's it for the post-game wrap-up. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe to Believers Talk. We'll be with you post-game, pre-game, all the way through the regular season, hopefully beyond the regular season. We make some postseason noise as well again this year, but we'll see. But till then, go Bills.
Go Bills.
No, you say it first.